If you know anything about Donald Trump, this guy has never written anything longer than a tweet. The man can't read. Like, reading is a real issue for him, like when he tried to say acetaminophen. That was a fucking catastrophe. Oh, you could see him. He got halfway through it. Asada Shakur, Asita, and you just sweat coming down, sweating like a priest at a daycare. He was And so it's somebody else doing all of this shit. What you should know about Russ Vought, Trump's shadow president. Russ Vought, the president's top budget advisor. More than that, Vought is the architect of Trump's broader plan to fire civil servants, freeze government programs, and dismantle entire agencies. And he's a big reason the second Trump administration has been more effective at accomplishing its goals than the first. And it is definitely like Trump's gutting of the government and kind of everything that helps people. Food stamps, public education, Social Security, medical care subsidies, healthcare subsidies, anything might help people. He has been far more effective at gutting it this second term than he was in the first term. And that apparently is thanks to Russ Vought. Vought's title is Director of the Office of Management and Budget. The OMB directorship is one of the most powerful jobs in Washington. And Vought has used this position to wage a quiet war to change the shape of the entire U.S. government. In Vought's hands, OMB has acted as a choke point for the funding that Congress approves and agencies rely on to run the government. While he tends to operate behind the scenes as much as possible, his influence in Trump's second administration is so pronounced that people have described him as a shadow president. It's not mentioned in this article, but I did mention Vought the other day. David Dane made the point that we've been in a shutdown really for months before this because Trump, through the OMB, through Vought, has not been releasing the funds that go to things like clean energy. Now, the U.S. does a pathetic job on clean energy, but the OMB wasn't releasing the funds to do anything Trump didn't want to do, which is supposed to be illegal. Trump's now fighting it. It's going up to the Supreme Court to basically say he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to send money to anything that Congress has approved. Congress is supposed to be the ones that decide the budget. Congress has very little power nowadays. They've just allowed all of their power to drift away like dandelion spores, but they've kept the power of the purse strings, supposedly. And yet here you have Trump saying, I know Congress told me to spend that money. I don't feel like it. I don't like clean energy. I don't like food stamps. I'm not sending that money out. Well, that's Vought. That's OMB. Vought helped launch an offshoot of the Heritage Foundation think tank called Heritage Action for America, which was tasked with strong-arming congressional Republicans to act more conservatively. While the office of OMB is part of the White House, Vought is a member of Trump's cabinet, along with the Secretary of Defense and Attorney General. Every penny appropriated by Congress first passes through the OMB. It also reviews all significant regulations proposed by federal agencies, vets executive orders before the president signs them, and issues workplace policies for more than 2 million federal employees. And you got to remember that with each one of those things, Trump's not looking at them. Supposedly, these are supposed to be Trump's decision, but Trump's not going through these documents. In 2019, after the Trump White House pressured Ukraine to investigate then-candidate Joe Biden and his son Hunter, they asked Vought, who was then acting director, so he was on the OMB last administration as well, to freeze $214 million in congressionally approved security assistance for Ukraine. Vought obliged. That impoundment was later deemed illegal, and it would trigger congressional investigations and ultimately Trump's first impeachment. During that process, Vought refused to cooperate with investigators. Oh, what a loyal soldier. What a ball-licking loyal soldier. Do you think he has a chair at his desk, or does he just do it on his knees? You think all of his work's just on his knees in front of Trump? In 2021, Vought launched the Center for Renewing America, a think tank devoted to keeping the MAGA movement alive and preparing for a second Trump term. Vought accepted an assignment from Trump to come up with a way for conservatives to counter Black Lives Matter. He popularized the concept of, quote, woke and weaponized government a phrase embraced by GOP politicians. And you'll notice if you watch like Fox News or any of these people, or fucking Bill Maher, they say woke and weaponized, or weaponized woke agenda, or what they say it like every other sentence. It's their favorite thing. He's the one who came up with that. Isn't that awesome? That's like the Republican version of being the guy that came up with banger. You know, you're the first person to say banger. Wow, man. I came up with woke and weaponized. That was my thing. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. I got t-shirts that say it and everything, man. In 2017, while an advisor at OMB, Vogt played a lead role in trying to implement a Trump executive order that called for a top-to-bottom reorganization of the federal government. A former OMB senior staffer said Vogt initially wanted to eliminate USAID, which one of the few things that Trump has done that I support, because it's a CIA offshoot. It's all, yes, it gave aid to other countries in order to try and create coups there. That was its job. And also to fold the Department of Education and the Department of Housing and Urban Development, along with food stamps, into a new Department of Welfare. They wanted to call it that because they thought it sounded bad. Basically, they wanted to put all those things into something called welfare to make it easier to gut that, because it's easier to explain to the American public we're gutting welfare than we're gutting housing or we're gutting education. Vogt was a key figure in the work of Project 2025. You remember that? The coalition of conservative groups that created a roadmap and recruited future appointees for the next administration. He led 2025's transition portion, which included writing some 350 executive orders, regulations, and other plans to more fully empower the president. During the 2024 campaign, Trump repeatedly claimed to have nothing to do with Project 2025. The administration has moved quickly to fulfill all of Project 2025's policy objectives. Court records, interviews, and other accounts from people close to Vogt show that Doge's efforts were guided more than previously known by Vogt. Most people thought it was Elon Musk, and Elon Musk was definitely the face of it. He definitely was pivotal. He definitely had a lot of say in what Doge was doing in those early months. Apparently, Vogt was the guy on the ground really making a lot of these calls. Quote, I can't imagine that the Doge team knew to target all these little parts of the government without Russ Vogt pointing them there, said one branch chief. An administration official who has worked with Vogt and Musk told ProPublica that Doge showed Vogt that it was possible to ignore legal challenges and take dramatic action. He has the benefit of Elon softening everyone up. It's lovely when like two sociopaths get together and they can learn from each other. Like, that's beautiful. Like, you know, it's like that scene, I think it was in Jurassic Park, but it's also in a lot of, documentaries that show dinosaurs, where the mom T-Rex kind of nudges the baby T-Rex to go, like, rip the throat out of a dying koala bear or whatever. It's like that. That's kind of what went on with Elon Musk and Vogt. Vogt has frozen $26 billion in federal funding for infrastructure and clean energy projects in blue states in the days after the federal government shutdown. So basically, during the shutdown, he has frozen these billions and billions of dollars of funds, mainly in blue states or maybe exclusively in blue states. As David Dayen pointed out, most of these were frozen, like they weren't going out before. They hadn't stated that it was frozen before the government shutdown, but they weren't really getting where they were supposed to go anyway, these funds. The government has also followed through on Vogt's earlier threat to fire a massive number of civil servants if the shutdown were not averted. So there you go, some details on what many are calling the shadow president. And again, when you can't read or write, you need a shadow president to be coming up with a lot of this stuff.